On today's episode, David reminisces about one of his favorite childhood pastimes, watching the Lingerie Football League.
And Bradley endorses a billionaire.
And I just desperately tried to get in bits throughout this entire episode. I'm Colin.
I'm David.
I'm Bradley.
And this is Overarching, a show for St. Louis, by St. Louis, and St. Louis.
Yeah,
Starring St. Louis.
Starring St. Louis himself. Bring him in.
Is St.
Louis
Louis
a horse?
St. Louis a man?
Yeah. He's
Dave,
on
what
a
do you
horse. What do you think the apotheosis is?
What do you think we're named after?
You think it was the horse?
What do you think you named your son after?
First of all, I thought we were just talking about the general milieu of St. Louis, like just as a place, not the man. Also, how dare you assume that person's gender? We don't know.
You're right, David.
Speaking of men.
I'd like to issue an apology.
No, jeez.
That horse has big balls, though. It does.
In the statue.
Why are
In
you
the
looking?
statue. Yeah.
Why are you looking? Because it's up. That's why.
I mean, it's kind of
really
hard
high,
not to.
yeah.
When you're close to that, you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's I think this is the second time I've mentioned that in this podcast, and it cannot be mentioned enough. Like, they took the time to do that, and which is, I respect it.
It's an excellent statue.
Attention to detail.
It's art,
You gotta love
baby.
it.
Big fan.
It's art, baby. Art.
Should we do the pledge?
Let's do the pledge.
I agree. Let's do the pledge.
I
pledge allegiance to Gregory FX Daly, the one to whom we owe it all, and to our taxes, which we prefer to be actually collected from developers at the time of development, not deferred for decades as some kind of what? Apology for our city? Call them on their bluff. They'll build anyway. And if they don't, someone else will, as there is seemingly an endless supply of rich developers foaming at the mouth to get all bricked up. That's what that means, right? 1% to the god of yellow envelopes ignored by all.
Hey, at the time of recording, speaking of taxes,
And rich developers.
In a nearby suburb of St. Louis, just a couple hours out of town, there was the public voted down a tax increase, a sales tax increase for over 40 years for stadium development.
That was a suburb of St.
We're, of course, talking about the...
Jackson
County.
Yeah. Jackson County, Missouri.
Yeah.
That's where the Mormons go when they die, right? Or is that what it is? No, that's not what it is.
No, it's closer.
There is Eden, which is north. Their
to St.
Eden
Joe, right?
is north. It's close to Hamilton, Missouri.
Yeah, well, there's that line. in
It's
the
like
song
along Highway
from-
36. I think it's Jackson County, Missouri.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kansas City, the people of Kansas City, the good people of a place, Kansas City,
Of a fine suburb.
they said, hey, no, billionaires, we don't want to pay you to have more money.
Specifically, 58% voted no.
Oh.
Yeah, like
So-
that is
Good job.
a striking mandate.
So why are we against that? Like, why are we against stadiums not being funded by what? Like, I'm trying to understand this
I
take.
think the question is why are you against it? Is why are you for it? Let's
Sure.
start there.
Let's
Like
not
why?
bring the negative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
why are you for
The question posed.
spending tax money on giving more money to billionaires that already have this
Well, when
money?
you frame it like that, David.
Well,
Right.
which is the reality of the
it's the reality of the
situation.
I hear you twist my words into saying something that I said.
Oh, how darn me.
Yeah, but it's pretty exciting. It's pretty cool. There feels like a long history of like every time a team that is, owned by a wealthy person, which is like all major sports teams, because that's just the reality of the world we live in America at least, and
Yes.
is like every time they're like, we want a new stadium, and they're like, oh, we will, if we don't, we don't have so much money. It costs a lot to build a stadium.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody who lives here who's going to be buying tickets and spending money in the could you give us some money to build our stadium so we can charge you money to come into our stadium?
When Bill DeWitt, the senior Bill DeWitt, the current senior Bill DeWitt that's alive, came to the public and said, we're not doing great right now. This was back like a few years ago, like during COVID. This was, I think, the end of 2020 or like the beginning of 2021, middle 21. They're talking about Ballpark Village phase 3 and spending money.
The water park.
The water park. And specifically the team is not spending, like the Cardinals anyways, are not spending enough money to keep up with the rest of the league. Our salary cap is pretty middle tier, like 13th out of 30 teams.
That's in the upper half.
I agree.
I would call that
this market, for the market that St. Louis is.
I would call
that's
that
big.
Specifically the definition of keeping up with the league.
I agree. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
He said, we're having a rough go right now. We're not, he said the phrase, we're not making any money right now. Bro. Who
are you paying?
What person of your stature and what person of your general wealth isn't making money? You need to shut the freaking front door.
It's that $200 million contract they gave to Miles Michaelis. That's what it is.
They didn't do that.
Right. Yeah.
They should have given the $200 million contract to Juan Soto, but they didn't. We're not going to go into
Or Shohei.
So
he got $1 billion, didn't he?
$700 million.
Yeah, that's
deferred
$680
$680 million. We don't need to go there.
Yeah, so it feels like it feels like every time someone's like, "Hey, let's get a new stadium," it's like, "Hey, let's pass some sort of tax incentive to get it done," and it feels like it usually happens. Like as someone who is vaguely aware of sports as far as it hits the general news and just like when it's on, I like watching. It feels like in recent history, every time this happens, cities say, yes, please don't leave. There's always like at least for.
We did it with the Rams.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's
they threatened to leave. They said, "Give us money," and we won't, and then they did anyway.
But they were always gonna, and that's the whole thing.
Well, that's the scandal. That's why we won that's why they settled the lawsuit with us.
So when I moved here in 2015, right at the beginning of 2015, and that was like what the news was about.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it wasn't right in 20. I don't remember the timeline, but I remember every newspaper stand. 'Cause this was back in the day. This is when there was newspaper stands. The every single piece of media was about oh, we need to vote. We're gonna get all this tax money for the Rams to stay, and we're gonna save the football team.
Yeah.
And it's like, we were never gonna, and B, why?
Right.
This man, now I know, because thanks David for enlightening me about sports ownership. But
yes,
Stan Kroenke owns or the Kroenke family owns
Yes.
35,000
Kroenke Sports
teams.
Entertainment, KSE, yeah.
KSC,
KSE.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they own a bajillion things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
if
The fifth
it
largest
feels
landowner in America. Jesus Christ. So weird. Isn't that
Is that
crazy?
really the case?
Yeah, we talked about it
about
already.
that's right on the Billionaires episode. He's the fifth largest landowner in the United States.
It's just crazy.
So all that to say, it feels like, to my reading of the headlines, a major win for the common man saying no, we're going to stand our ground.
Where were they gonna what was this? What was the plan?
So the Royals owner John Sherman and the Chiefs president Mark Donovan were the two kind of spearheads of this, right? So
No
the
pun
Royals,
intended.
yeah, there you go. The Royals had pledged at least $1 billion.
Was that a Chiefs?
Arrowhead Stadium.
Arrowhead Stadium, spearhead.
I'm just gonna bing it just in case.
They're called the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's just,
So that's on them, not me.
That's them.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that wasn't a bing for you. It was a bing.
That's
for
a
them.
ding for Kansas City, as
there you
they
go.
deserve a lot of dings.
Ding, ding, ding.
The Royals pledged at least $1 billion from ownership for their project to build a new stadium. By the way, a new stadium costs over $1 billion now, if you are not aware.
You've seen David Lemon's video on, hey, look, there's a stadium. You'll know that.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. So they wanted to use their share of this tax revenue to help fund a $2 billion plus ballpark district. Because the reason ballparks costs more than $1 billion is because rich schmucks want to replicate what St. Louis has done, and specifically the Braves have done, because the Braves moved to Cobb County, which is 25 miles outside of downtown Atlanta.
Served by public transit, though.
But that's where all the people that watch the Braves are. And then the Super Bowl champion, back-to-back Super Bowl championship Chiefs had committed $300 million in private money, and then had used their share of an $800 million overhaul of Arrowhead Stadium. So they would have used it to improve Arrowhead Stadium, but then put a lot more money towards the Royals.
So
and
the
they
ballpark, but the ballpark district was going to be downtown, wasn't it? Like on the riverfront.
It was essentially going to be in the Crossroads district. So
That's in the city limits, though.
right? But it would have displaced like 30 some small businesses.
Oh.
And everybody's like, these are small businesses that we actually go to.
Like it's not like some dead.
And yeah, but like in the Crossroads is where they have like First Fridays all the time, and it's their arts district.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like their midtown, I guess you could call it. But like imagine St. Louis just being like, we don't want the Busch Stadium. We don't want Busch Stadium anymore, or the Rams. Let's just say the Rams. We're gonna build the Rams' new stadium. In Midtown, and it would displace all of the cool theaters, all of the cool little bars we like to hang out at, all that stuff, all the boutiques and whatnot, right? Like that's all gone. So it loses the entire vibe, and it becomes corporate as hell, which the Crossroads is becoming, like already. And so they're trying to save their arts district, which I am totally here for. They essentially wanted to drop the bomb on the Truman Sports Complex.
It reminds me of
Nobody?
Of Jacksonville.
Nobody?
Nope. Reminds me of Jacksonville.
Nobody.
Sorry.
Truman bomb.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you. A good St. Louis, and according to me, seven episodes ago, Harry Truman. He was on the list. He was on the Wikipedia list. The Jacksonville, Florida, did this with the Jaguar Stadium.
What's up with the Jacksons? The Jacksons.
Jackson County. Yep. Anything named. I mean, Andrew Jackson. That's what's up with it.
Later on, we're going to talk about Jacksonville Jaguars a little bit too. Fun fact. Stay tuned.
Are we? Oh, yeah,
yes,
that's right. But the Jacksonville Jaguars did that with their stadium. They stuck it in the middle of their
Sod Khan.
Yeah, and but what came out of it was kind of interesting. Like the displaced businesses that became like abandoned because they fucked over that whole district, then became what's now called the Spark District, which is an arts district, and it's kind of freaking rad.
Yeah.
So it was a boondoggle that something cool came out of because of the common man doing a thing.
Yeah.
But glad that definitely pro moving stadiums to downtowns. Mm-hmm. Like if your stadium is somewhere on the outskirts of your town in the middle of a parking lot.
One of the news articles I read said that there was some political messaging around the vote, kind of like saying like, hey, if you don't vote for this tax, like maybe the Royals could leave the area.
Yeah. They spent a bunch of money trying to propagate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with Oakland being in its current situation.
Right. That fear is big. The encouraging thing is that John Sherman said afterwards, he's like, yeah, some political consultant group pushed that and said that. I don't believe in that. This is my hometown. I've lived here forever, and the Royals are not leaving. So, hopefully he sticks to that. I that's an honorable thing to say. Everything else, still don't give them money, and let's do that.
Still a billionaire.
For real.
Yeah. But yeah, Oakland,
Speaking of,
yeah.
Let's pour one out for a
let's
buds.
raise a glass and pour one out for our brethren in Oakland.
And
moving to Sacramento for 4 years, probably,
and
to play in a AAA ballpark on their move to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Right, they couldn't stay in the Oakland Coliseum for
just
for 4 more years.
Cheers to you, Oakland, for losing 3 professional sports franchises in the last 6 years.
Let's not act like we are not the kings of that.
But Sacramento is the
and
kings
real
of
quick
that,
note
so.
for the edit, since we don't want to make a mess here. When we pour one out, can you just
We're pouring it in our mouth.
Can you roto? Can you animate the can? Make a. We got the CG button for that.
Spill it on the computer, sparks everywhere.
Yeah,
we have
that's
too
what
much. Too much equipment in here too. Well, we have enough budget to pour one out once.
God, I feel so bad for Oakland sports fans. They've had it so hard. They've had it worse than St. Louis.
Recently,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Although there is this little suburb of Oakland called is it Emerson or something like that?
We're gonna say Los Angeles or San Francisco,
which is the best bike friendly place on earth.
Oh yeah.
sure.
And woo, I would live there in a heartbeat, dude.
No, it's
I love that area. If I had money.
I've never been to Oakland. I don't.
It's cool, man. It's really cool.
That's what I have heard.
Really amazing sports fans. Incredible sports fans.
It's obvious from the reaction to the A's leaving.
Yeah, such a strong, organized reaction with the sell the team, that type of collectivization warms
And I
my
think
heart.
if we would have known what was going on in the background with
Right.
Kroenke, I think we would have had a very similar reaction
Yeah.
when the Rams left. But
Yeah.
before we knew it, they were gone.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
So, Mr. Fisher, I'm not even gonna call you Mr. Fisher. Fuck. I'll call you that.
It's a new
Fisher
game.
man.
That's a
No,
new
that's what
game.
you are, man.
Instead of FMK, it's Fisher.
Yeah. You suck, man.
Yeah.
Get absolutely bent.
I wonder if him and Kroenke hang out and they're like,
they all hang out.
and there's like space yacht.
All the sports owners hang out because
Drinking.
they're like, you don't understand. They talk to everybody else out there. It's like, you don't understand how hard it is to own a professional sports franchise.
What's the venue at which that these? Like, let's imagine that real quick.
Monaco?
Okay.
The Grand Prix at Monaco. That's where they all hang out.
in some box in some casino somewhere.
Basically France, but not.
right.
Monaco.
Tax-free France.
They're right. They're
yeah.
right at like the major turn, and then none of them are watching.
Thierry Henry's enclave.
Can you imagine
Monaco.
if a duty-free store was like a country
That's really good.
and had a racetrack?
Love it.
That's really good.
Monaco.
Let's get to like the big thing of today.
It's our tier list.
We're doing a massive tier list.
Make it buzzier.
Make it
Buzzier?
sexy.
Make it
it hot.
buzzier. A sexy tier list. That is like 16 long. 16's a sexy number, right? Different. No, Jesus.
Do not.
Out of my
God.
mouth, and I was like, you told me to make it sexy, so I just started saying the word sexy.
God.
I took your advice, and it went off the rails.
So saying,
Really bad.
Jesus.
It was really bad. We're gonna do a tier list,
We're gonna tier list.
specifically to historical sports franchises in St. Louis. The past sports franchises.
All the teams we've lost.
Cardinals, Blues, City, Battlehawks don't count.
St. Louis Saints.
Who are the St. Louis Saints?
Has anybody ever heard of this? Is the most 1999 thing I can possibly imagine? The Lingerie Football League, a professional, semi-professional women's sports league, football league, and they're still around.
Yeah.
They're called the X League now.
Yeah.
But the St. Louis Saints, they were a professional lingerie football team.
Just the greatest name you could have
Yeah.
for a lingerie football league team.
Oh man,
They
St.
played
Louis
and they played and they
Saints.
you know where they played? The Family Arena.
They sure did.
From
didn't
20
they?
did.
from 2012 to 2012.
Family entertainment
The
for
they're
divorced dads and sons.
the X League is now owned by one Mike Ditka, which is
Tracks.
hysterical. A woman was named owner just recently in 2022, and they're coming back in 2025. I love this. The league was met with criticism throughout its existence. Critics say the league degrades female athletes through, quote, pernicious objectification. It's great.
That tracks.
And it is. It is exactly that. And to be fair, the women in this league, all professional athletes, and they're seemingly on board with it. And they're like, just because it's objectification doesn't mean that we're not in control of our bodies, which is cool.
That is cool.
Like that
is really cool.
And you know what? If they're into it, I'm into it.
Yeah.
But
If it
St.
started,
Louis-
if
St.
it
Louis
started
Saints.
out as something that was seemingly just, like trotting around in lingerie,
I do love that the safety.
And now that's
there's a
like-
safety section of this Wikipedia page that like talks about the stuff that they actually wore, and they literally are pretty much just wearing helmets and shoulder pads.
no, dude, like, yeah, that was a thing. When you were in like middle school and high school watching the lingerie league,
I was not
and your
doing
mom
that,
would come
David.
downstairs, you'd be like, "Oh God!"
Yeah.
Is this David? I wasn't watching the lingerie league when I was in middle school.
I'm not ashamed to say that I was.
Okay, David.
What? We were all teenage boys.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Cool.
Can I talk about the Hummers?
Oh God! What?
Great transition. So the Hummers.
what?
So the Hummers were a part of the International Women's Professional Softball Association for 3 years, and this was in like the 2000s, 90s, something like that.
2090s.
2000s, 90s. Hold on, I need to like verify that. Nope, I was wrong. I'll start over with the Hummers.
Keep the transition though.
Yeah. So with the International Women's Professional Softball Association, the Hummers from 1977 through 1979. They played down in Valley Park in the late 70s.
Wow.
The softball was like kind of a big thing. But wasn't softball like invented by a dude who was just like, women can't hit small baseballs? I'm pretty
that
sure
could
that
not
was
be true.
I think that's the real thing. But also, softball is dope. Like current modern day softball is incredible. Like the Oklahoma Sooners baseball team, softball. That's what I meant.
No.
Oklahoma Sooners softball team is like, talk about dominance. Talk about absolute dominance. Bradley.
Yeah, St. Louis Braves, ding. They were here in the mid-'60s, minor league, the Central Professional Hockey League, played at the Checker Dome. Bears
Also known as St. Louis Arena.
Yeah. Yes. Bears mentioned, because I feel like, because like, so they were here from 63 to 67, which is like when we got the Blues' expansion. So I feel like that was probably instrumental in being a proving ground for St. Louis as a market for that expansion.
Yeah, in 67.
And Blues have been just a huge cornerstone of this city for all that time.
Yeah, the second largest cornerstone of sports in St. Louis. That's easy. That goes without saying. Like, obviously, Cardinals own this town, but the Blues are seemingly right there.
Right there. Quick clarification, just because you have a connection to this.
I have a connection to this?
Yes. George Hancock, credited as the game's inventor, had a 17-inch ball and an undersized bat, and it was for baseball players to keep their skills up indoors during winter.
Circumference 17 inch.
Yeah, the game moved
I was gonna
outside,
say-
but that it got kind of extrapolated into the future by a guy named Louis Rober in Minneapolis, who is organizing outdoor exercise games for firefighters. And the game that Hancock invented was then known as kitten ball, or lemon ball.
Oh, lemon ball.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I have a lemon ball.
Didn't someone in your family invent the lemon ball? Weren't you telling me about that?
Probably. It was probably Bob Lemon. He played for the Indians. I'm sorry. The Cleveland Guardians. Or the Cleveland Spiders at one point.
There you go.
Which is what the team name should be. How freaking dare you make it the Cleveland Guardians?
The Cleveland Spiders, we're going to talk about this last honorable mention before we go in,
Yes.
have a little St. Louis connection here.
Last honorable mention, St. Louis Perfectos.
The St. Louis Perfectos.
1899, 1 year.
Cleveland Spiders.
Yes.
St. Louis Perfectos.
Yes.
Dude named Frank Robeson owned both teams and had also previously owned two teams at the same time in two different cities. And that didn't work out. So what did he do? He bought two more teams. And the St. Louis Perfectos are credited with having the worst record in baseball history. They won 20 games in one season.
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that one guy owned two teams?
It has everything to do with that, because all the good players that were on the St. Louis Perfectos, he just moved over to the Cleveland Spiders, which were a fantastic team.
They were a juggernaut.
Yeah.
were.
It's because they had two farm systems. Yep. And one
was a major league team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so the St. Louis Perfectos, but the St. Louis Perfectos, in a roundabout little bit of history, went on to become
Well, they were the St. Louis Cardinals before that.
Oh, really?
As well. In
Oh, no,
1898, they became the St. Well, it's technically like 1880 something.
And then they came back.
But
They went back. It's same franchise though.
Yeah, Perfectos are the Cardinals.
Wow, that's
same
amazing.
franchise.
What a glow up.
And you know why they're called the Perfectos? Because that was the name of a cigar company that he wanted to promote.
The Frank Robeson also owned a team
Just so dumb.
called the Superbas at one point too,
Yeah.
which is probably another brand. You know what? I'm all for sports teams having names like that nowadays.
Yeah.
I say bring them
Well,
back.
I mean, look at the Korean and the Japanese leagues. They're named
Sure.
after things. You
Yeah.
know? It's like, they're the Samsungs.
Right, I'm into it. Like in America,
Yeah.
what would that be? Like the
Apples.
the Kansas City Anthem Insurances.
The Chicago American Family Insurances.
I mean, honestly,
There you go.
insurance, all the insurance,
They're
insurance,
all insurance.
yeah, it's like the Liberty Mutual Ostriches.
The Liberty Mutuals. Yeah, and there's two teams. They're the Liberty Mutuals.
Geico owns a different team for each one of its mascots. The Geico Geckos, the Geico Cavemen, the Geico. So,
Actual tier
tier
list.
list.
Let's start with the St. Louis Browns.
St. Louis Browns.
One of the most historic teams that everybody can like understand and relate to, right?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
1955, they left to become the Baltimore Orioles.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Went from brown to
1944
orange.
was like the greatest thing that ever happened in St. Louis. Except it was during a World War, so not that great. But that was St. Louis Browns versus St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series.
The streetcar series. Remember
Remember when we could have a series called the Streetcar Series?
Good thing we still have all those streetcars.
Ooh.
The one good thing that came out of that is the St. Louis Browns old stadium is now like one of the best city like one of the best municipal uses on North Grand. It's like a cool it's a
Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's sitting right next to a
Giant
a
field
giant Superfund site that will
Yes.
not be buildable for the foreseeable
for
future.
the years to come.
Yeah.
Like no, decades to come.
Yeah, it's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
So by the way, just tier list. We're going S tier,
Yeah.
A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and then
F tier.
Kansas City tier.
Yeah.
KC tier. Fun fact: this might skew your rankings on this.
Okay.
Probably up.
Sure.
From the year 1951 to 1953, the last 2-3 years that they were here,
yes.
their mascot was Brownie the Elf.
Ooh,
Oh,
that
I'm very
feels-
aware.
that feels
That makes it worse. I mean, but at the same time, like, I'm very aware. Fun fact about the St.
Here's
Louis
the thing.
Browns. In the 1950s, and I believe it was the 40s as well, Bill DeWitt, we're coming right back around to Bill DeWitt, was the bat boy for the St. Louis Browns. Talking about nepotism, everybody?
Wait, here's the thing: Brownie
You mean
the
the,
Elf.
the bat boy that like had
Literally the bat boy.
the bat boy who had an affair with Hillary Clinton,
The bat boy that had an affair with Eddie Geidel. You know that
the little Weekly World News guy.
No.
They
He was
made
like
a musical
He
out
was
of
like
him.
3.5 feet tall, and they made him bat.
Oh yeah,
You know, and
Yeah.
they got like
I was up in
4 balls in a row.
when I was up in Duluth.
Do they
going
have
to
like a
Duluth Huskies game?
Yeah.
They have like all these cutouts of like famous baseball players.
And
they're
Eddie
all
Geidel's one of them?
Yes, and I'm like, why? He had no connection to it. It's just like here's this
so
3
good.
foot tall guy that played baseball.
I say Browns A tier,
Okay, I was gonna say S tier because they're like a championship team.
but they're not. They never won.
I guess that's true. They lost to the Cardinals in
Right.
St. Louis.
They never won.
Streetcar
Yeah.
series.
If
I like A
if they
tier.
won,
I like A
if
tier.
they
They have that
won-
weird, probably racist mascot.
and they were, they have a weird owner. Okay,
Yeah.
can we go? We're gonna go straight. We're gonna stay on baseball for a second.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
The Giants / Stars,
Negro League.
specifically
Yes.
St. Louis Stars.
Yeah.
The Negro League team. Cool, Papa Bell,
Hell
the
yeah.
greatest center fielder in the history of the friggin' universe.
3 championships.
Yes,
Yeah.
they won 3 championships in 4 seasons.
They are the winningest of all these teams on this list, aren't they? As far as
they
this-
really are. So in 1906, Charles A. Mills was an African American bank messenger and a gigantic baseball fan who wanted to upgrade like that team at the time, who was the Giants. So after the 1921 season, they were sold by the promoter Charlie Mills to a guy named Dick Kent, and you might know this other name, Dr. Sam Shepard.
Oh wow.
Who
Not the
built
playwright,
and different,
not the guy who killed his wife.
not the guy. Who goes
Okay,
like,
Also two different Sam
very
Shepard.
yes, and renamed the club the Stars. So they eventually built one of the great dynasties in history. Obviously, they won 3 of the 4 pennants from 28 to 31. Cool Papa Bell was on the team. Mule Suttles was on the team. Willie Wells is on the team, and it was Ted Trent. So basically, like 4 Hall of Famers that are on the same team and just absolutely lights out. And without a doubt, like these guys would play in Major League Baseball.
Oh, yeah.
And they would be like some of the best players in the frigging universe.
And have the
Their stats are insane.
And they play their ballpark on the side of their ballpark. That's where the Harris Stowe baseball field.
Yes.
where?
The ball field for Harris Stowe University on Compton.
Oh, that's theirs. Like that was the historical site of it, or it's
Yeah.
the same. It's the same
where Stars
field.
Park was.
Oh, that's very cool.
And
did not know that.
This easily goes S tier.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Easily goes S tier.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
A quick aside: what happened to all these cool names? I guess we still have some. We have like Mookie Betts and stuff, but like then the championship year is part of this Wikipedia article. It's like, oh, they went. They narrowly lost the playoff series to Bullet Rogan and the Kansas City Monarchs. Like Bullet Rogan, cool Papa Bell.
Yeah. Mule Suttles.
There you go.
So great.
Yeah.
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 Really Wells.
It's just why. Yeah, we should have nicknames for each other.
Yeah.
that are that cool.
Candy, Jim Taylor. Love it.
Yeah. Okay. Spirits
Yep.
of St. Louis, the ABA, the American Basketball Association.
Hot take. Best sports team name in the history of St. Louis.
Ooh, oh.
Here's the thing. I would have agreed with you before I knew that Charles Lindbergh was a
Sure.
Nazi.
Yeah.
They're just removed.
Like
You know what?
Kirkwood.
You know what
Like
else?
Kirkwood was like, we're not calling that part of our town Kurt Lindbergh
We're
Boulevard.
gonna separate the aviator from the aviation.
No. Well,
Is this a Michael Jackson situation?
No. It's
Michael Jackson's not a Nazi.
No,
it's
but
a
he's a.
it's a spirits situation.
Okay.
St. Louis makes a lot of spirits,
Is that
baby.
Do you think that's
That is absolutely not what it is named
Okay,
after.
yeah,
No,
okay.
But if and when they bring back basketball to St. Louis, which they should and will.
I don't know.
Spirits of St. Louis, make it about
it's
booze.
absolutely-
It
it's
absolutely
absolutely
is the freaking plane. Okay, I don't care. He was bad.
We know that.
He was
We know that.
bad.
Great colors. I love orange.
I love a good atypical sports team name.
And one that is connected to like iconic
It's a-
historical moments.
It is an iconic name. It's probably one of the better names in St. Louis history.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Charles Lindbergh was a bad person. Change Lindbergh Boulevard. Change it all the way down. Do it.
Kirkwood already did it. Isn't that bad when Kirkwood's like, we should do this?
You know, I'd be fine with it being Kirkwood Boulevard all the way up and down.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
You know what Kirkwood is? A walkable downtown.
Wait, didn't we find out that the guy that's named after Kirkwood is also a crazy person?
Oh no! Is
Change
I don't
every
know.
name.
All right, here we go.
Change every name. Hot
Yeah.
take.
Here
Change
we go.
every name.
How we go? Staying in Bay.
wait.
Wait, we got to
Oh,
feel
yeah, Spirits of St. Louis.
I'm gonna say
B.
I'm gonna say C.
I was gonna say C tier.
See, great.
Yeah.
I feel like C tier is. They were just.
They weren't here very
mid,
long.
They were mid all the way around.
And they were not the Hawks.
Okay,
That's
and
a
that's our
separate
next one.
franchise. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hawks. Here we go. Hawks. We're in the NBA, which 1954 to 1965, owned by Ben Lerner, who we
Of
do
Lerner and Lowe?
not like at all. Okay. So in 54, we drafted Bob Pettit, who would go on to win the first official the first official most valuable player award in 1956, the first time they handed it out. How fun. How fun is that? The same year in 1956, guess who we drafted? Guess who St. Louis drafted?
Michael Jordan.
Basically, I'm going to say even better than Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan Sr.
Bill Russell.
Oh wow.
We drafted Bill Russell.
He is the NBA logo. Isn't he?
11 freaking rings, this guy. He has 2 hands and can't fit all his rings on them. Okay? I still think LeBron's better. Did you know...
I mean, what are we saying? What are we saying now? We ain't in the 90s anymore. What are people saying?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
this ain't the 90s.
Yeah.
It's a whole trend.
It is.
I'm on basketball TikTok
Oh,
for
are
some
you?
reason.
Are
Yeah.
you? It's LeBron. It's not
It's
even
showing
close.
it like the TikTok trend is them showing all
like-
Michael Jordan and like people from the 90s like hitting these crazy shots and they're like layups.
Yeah.
It's like it's not the 90s.
We traded him immediately.
Oh.
We traded Bill
no.
Russell immediately. The most St. Louis thing ever.
No.
But we traded him for 2 guys named Cliff Hogan and Ed McCauley. Ever heard of them? Well, actually, they're actually NBA Hall of Famers each.
Wow.
The both of them. So you'd imagine with Bob Pettit, Cliff, and Ed on the same team, 3 future NBA Hall of Famers, we'd have been pretty good. No?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Well, in 57, they made it to the finals, Game 7.
And the team looked like
in
that.
double overtime in
wow.
57. We lost in Game 7 to Bill Russell Celtics.
Amazing.
Oh wow.
Incredible. Can we please?
Are you ready for this though? It
Yep.
gets even better. Already,
Okay.
The Hawks are amazing. The Hawks have the greatest sports story in St. Louis, in my opinion. Next year, they didn't do great, right? Nope. They went back to the finals and beat Bill Russell for the NBA championship.
Go
That's
Hawks.
exciting.
They beat him,
God,
right?
Love a
Okay.
narrative in sports.
And then they
baby.
left.
And David, why are they in your mind? Because in my mind, they're so low on this tier list in my mind. So why are they so low? Well, that's pretty great. That's they're amazing. Not many teams ever beat Bill Russell, who has 11 rings, right? So they went back to the finals twice in the early 60s too. They lost to Bill Russell's Celtics both times.
Amazing. This is
Three times. They went 4 times to the finals and lost to Bill Russell's Celtics 3 of those 4 times.
Hey, at least they beat him once. This is like the equivalent of like
Yeah.
Steph Curry today. Steph Curry and the Warriors.
If you think the Celtics are the Lakers' greatest enemy, no. It is the St. Louis Hawks' greatest enemy, which is why I absolutely loathe that Jason Tatum is on the Celtics, and I hate Boston sports so much. So in 1966,
we got ours. We got ours in when the Blues beat the
Bruins.
Bruins though.
Yeah. Brad Marchand.
Can we like I love you.
You want to move on?
Boy. Yes, I want to move on. After I say this, can we please put up the logo of the St. Louis Hawks, specifically this one?
Yeah, it's pretty rad. Isn't it?
It's this little freaking like Looney Tunes looking bird who's like, I got the basketball. You can't have it. It's my basketball.
Yeah.
I'm not popping it with my talons that look like fingernails. That look like it looks like he has
Honestly,
it looks like
better logo than the current Hawks logo.
It looks like he has bugles on his fingers.
He might have.
like the snack food.
Good tie-in.
Bugles. It's we're sponsored.
Sponsored by Bugles.
I would love
And he
to
has
be.
knee
I'd be
pads.
so funny.
He
Cool
has
show.
knee pads on.
Yeah.
Did they play with knee pads?
They did. They used to play with knee pads.
Also, this bird has knees.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess birds have knees.
All right. Should we rank? Anyways, they left in 66 because we didn't build him a stadium, even though St. Louis was improving the Checker Dome for the Blues, and he was going to play there.
Glad that
And
never
he's like,
happened.
I want my own stadium. I want my own team. And then he didn't own the Hawks anymore. He sold them to a guy in Atlanta. He was like, I want my money back. Ugh, what a crybaby, Kerner.
Bummer.
I said D
Lerner.
tier.
No, F.
Kansas City?
No, Kansas City.
Kansas City too?
Hawks, in my opinion, Hawks belong in the F tier. No, we'll go D because of their championship.
Yeah.
They brought a championship to St. Louis, and the only championship the Hawks have, by the way.
Hey.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Suck in Atlanta.
Solid D tier.
Suck in Atlanta.
Being holded up. Yeah.
All right. River City Rage.
Ooh.
Is anybody familiar with this River City Rage?
Negative.
They played at the Family Arena.
Home of the St. Louis Saints.
St. Louis Saints. Home of
wow.
the St. Louis Saints.
What a diverse arena that is.
Dude, it really is, because we're going to talk about the Family Arena a lot more in this.
The family is not your St. Charles typical white family. It is the family of sports.
But I went to a few River City Rage games from 01 to 09, and they were just really entertaining. Like, when you have a stadium of that capacity, which is like under 10,000, it can
It's under 10,000?
I think it's exactly 10,000.
Really?
it's under 10,000.
It's a little small. I think it's a little small. Nice. A little smaller than Chaffetz. Good Dragon Ball Z reference, even though we all know it's 9.
It can be over 9,000 and under 10,000.
Accurate, so it has to be, but yeah, it's 100.
I mean, like,
it's
we
right.
don't know what how
There's
high.
1,000 digits in there. Good point.
Oh, yeah. 10,467.
Yeah, 10,000. From
Well,
01 to
over,
09.
It's over.
I'm going
10,000.
to, just because in the the fact that an arena football team was in this, what?
It is over 9,000. It seats 9,643 for hockey, 9,755 for football, 10,467 for basketball, and
That makes
6,339
So the
for
majority of
half-house
the time
concerts,
it's over
and
9,000.
up to 11,522 for end-stage concerts.
So I don't know a lot about St. Charles.
It's right
on
across
that,
the river.
It's a suburb like Kansas City. I know that, but the family arena is the indoor one.
Yes.
And Car Shield Field is the outdoor. It's like the baseball stadium.
Yes.
Gotcha. I've never
There you
been
go.
either. But
and we'll get to there in a second.
once they connect them to the MetroLink, I'll go there.
Yeah. I'm going to put, just because of the sheer fun that I've had in those games, and like it was a great option, I'm going to put it C.
Cool.
Sure.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I just had a good time.
I love arena football.
It's fine.
Is rad.
It was pretty cool.
I hope they bring back is the arena football league still a thing?
In some areas, yeah.
Like, 'cause that was like televised. They tried to like push that.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel was there for a little while.
It was like, it's just a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
that's where Kurt Warner came from.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go, Kurt.
Number next, the St. Louis Cardinals football team.
Yeah, we need to. Well, we're talking about
St.
the past.
Louis football Cardinals.
David, you're going to tell us a whole lot more. I'm going to say they're going to get downvoted for just like for sharing stadiums, for like always being in Bush 1 and 2. Like, we're going to.
But that was the time. It's a product of the time.
Hey, being a product of the time doesn't mean it's not a bad thing. Take that in many different ways.
What's up, Charles Lindbergh?
Yeah. So you don't necessarily love them. What are your feelings on them? Do you not know much?
On the St. Louis football Cardinals,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you.
Well, you know where they came from, right?
St. Louis.
No, Chicago.
Oh, that's right. I did know that. Yes. I did not put that together when I moved to St. Louis. The Arizona Cardinals were so recently the St.
Originally
Louis
the
football Cardinals.
Phoenix Cardinals.
Sure, yeah, that's right. But all those Cardinals and Phoenix.
Originally the Phoenix Coyotes.
I would love to see a cardinal in the desert. The I was not aware of how recently the St. Louis Football Cardinals moved.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Oh, it was the 80s.
80s?
Late 80s.
Okay, almost in my lifetime. Like, which is like we see the sports world for the most part as being very static. Like some teams have moved.
Well,
I mean, recently,
and here's-
but it seems like it happens so much more.
And this is for so many things in just perception. Like however things were when you came to awareness, it's like, this has been like this forever. You know, that's just so.
So, originally the Chicago Cardinals, owned by Bill Bidwell, who is a curse word in my household.
Oh, cool.
He's a Chicagoan himself from 62 until 2019. He owned the Cardinals when he passed in 2019. So
Why'd they move?
The Bidwells owned the Cardinals. His family owned the Cardinals since 1932. So he moved the team in Phoenix to 88 because St. Louis wouldn't build him a standalone stadium again, right?
First time that ever happened.
So
Good thing
he
it'll never
also,
happen again.
and here's the reason. Here's truly the reason. These two things are the reasons why they are absolutely abysmal in my mind. He publicly pledged, Bill Bidwell publicly pledged on our airwaves, our local airwaves, and in multiple places, he has been grandstanding that he would support an expansion team to St. Louis. He would support the expansion team to St. Louis in the early 90s. That he was going to, and he was going to vote for. He voted for the Jacksonville Jaguars instead.
This has to do
He
with
voted for the Jacksonville Jaguars instead, and more importantly, he ran that team so cheaply. By the way, the Arizona Cardinals were here in St. Louis for 27 years. Okay, which was 6 years longer than the Rams, mind you. And guess what they did? They made it to a total of 3 appearances in the playoffs, lost all 3 times, and never hosted one of those playoffs games in St. Louis.
Dang.
27 years of utter failure. Just patheticness all around.
187 victories, 202 losses, and 13 ties.
Just pathetic.
48% win percentage.
So are we throwing this in the case?
This is the Kansas City tier. This is Kansas City tier. And they deserve in a tier below Kansas City.
You think this is junkier than the other one?
Junkier than
hot take. I mean,
What was the
St.
other
Louis
one?
Rams. St. Louis Rams, former team.
the Hawks?
The Hawks.
This is way junkier than
Okay.
the Hawks.
Kansas City tier it is.
Yeah. Because the Hawks brought a title.
That's fair. Yep. And that was their that's right. That was their saving grace.
Yeah.
That's
But they did get rid of Bill
Yeah.
Russell. Which is
So St. Louis Rams.
yes.
We could say so much about this. We already have. I think we need to not say too much about it and just get the ranking and scoot.
Yes.
For all of Kroenke and everything, I still think Greatest Show on Turf at least brings it out of the KC tier.
Yeah.
I think D, maybe even C, because
It depends. Like what is this rank? What is this ranking about? Is it about their time here, or is it about how they left? Or
It's
both?
everything. It's everything. It's all encompassing because the team was owned by Georgia for the longest time as the vast majority, the majority owner. And she
Georgia?
was her name was Georgia.
Oh, okay. I was like the state.
Just so
The country.
great. I love the heck. This whole city would have signs. Just, Georgia,
Yeah.
woo, we love our owner. She was so great.
And
she,
then-
she brought us the title, and the Patriots only cheated to beat us in 01. I'm not. That's the only reason they won. I'm serious. Look it up. It's a real thing. And the NFL's like, no, that didn't happen. Everything the Patriots did, the NFL's like, no, that's good.
That was back
Boston, money.
That was back before the
Big market.
before the Patriots were a thing.
Yeah,
Like,
Robert-
oh my God, the Patriots won.
God,
That'll never happen again.
Robert Kraft. Anyways, I'm not going to go into it. But the Rams were so pivotal and important in my life. So important.
Is this bias though?
yes,
Right, it's bias.
Yes. I think it's.
For
I think
sure.
it's. I think it's nostalgia. I think it's
they went
growing
to 2
up.
Super Bowls, should have won both of them. But for a 5-year stretch, they were 4. For a 4-year stretch, they were untouchable on offense. They were so good.
Couldn't you say that about the St. Louis Hawks though?
Yeah, but the
But the St. Louis Hawks did it more because they did it 4 years in a row and got to the finals and won once, and St. Louis got to the final.
and I guess it is recency bias.
Okay, so C tier in our hearts and D tier in real life.
So does that mean the Hawks
I don't
have to
know.
go up to C tier?
No, I think the Hawks belong at D tier, because of all the baggage. And the Rams have a ton of baggage, and they have one big
But
high
they did
high.
build the dome, which is actually decent money for
And
the
here's
city.
the other thing.
Although I hate the Dome.
Here's the thing. Are we going to give... Does any team lose points for being a move and not an expansion? Because, like, both the Cardinals and the Rams moved here from somewhere else.
That is fair. And
Blues started here. Cardinals started here.
And the Rams moved back to where they came from.
The
too,
Hawks were
on
not
top
here
of it.
either. The Hawks moved here too.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
From Milwaukee.
Oh, that's yeah.
Where are we landing?
Let's just.
I'm gonna say C.
I'm gonna say C, and
High
I
highs-
think we bring the Hawks up to C. I genuinely think that because I think
the
there's
Hawks,
recency bias.
The Hawks feel like they have more baggage. I think the fact that the Hawks.
Fine,
are-
we'll leave the Hawks in D.
Yeah,
because
Rams
at
C.
C.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay, my personal biased favorite, my
Never heard of this
personal
team.
biased favorite, the Missouri River Otters, baby.
I love
Oh my god. My brother and I had jerseys.
Dude.
Chuck-a-puck. I'm just going to say the phrase, Chuck-a-puck. If you remember Chuck-a-puck growing up, going to the family, please comment. Oh my God. Just the best family-friendly thing. I loved going with my brother and mom and dad to these games. They were so fun.
Here's the
UHL.
one thing. Here's the thing. A potentially S tier logo.
Oh, dude, the River Otters logo is
I was gonna say
so great.
It is trying really hard to make an otter look vicious.
But green,
Bro,
green,
They
blue,
do
and
be
silver.
just because they hold hands.
Green,
don't mean
blue, and
they
silver.
Don't fight.
Okay, what great colors! Green, blue, silver.
It is good.
Super great color wheel there.
Both the owner and general manager of the Otters both have fun names to say. Mike Shanahan and Frank Buonamo.
Buonamo. All right.
Anyway,
They were here for 8 seasons, 99 through 06.
in the UHL in the United Hockey.
Yeah, United Hockey League. But they oh my gosh, they were just brown. Technically, they called it brown. They really didn't have much brown. Honestly, obviously the otter was brown.
Same blue
color.
colors. Blue, green,
So
brown.
blue, green, brown.
But
It was
silver
more.
is
It was
there.
more blue, green, silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. They former coach former player was Mark Reeds, and everybody loved that. He was a Blues player for a while.
Sick. I have no context.
Okay, this sounds like it's just me then. Did you ever go to Otters games?
I can't.
You lived really close.
I might have gone to an Otters game.
You lived really close.
I'm not sure.
This is going in A tier for me.
I like that
Why?
logo alone.
No, not logo alone. It was another option.
Check it.
Was another option for people. Because I grew up in St. Charles County, and my family didn't want to drive all the way to Blues games all the time.
I thought this was about St. Louis teams.
You need to shut your mouth.
Yeah.
But and I got to go to so many more because they were cheaper. I just loved sports,
Sure.
dude.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Here's the thing. To split that,
and
which I
it
think-
was quality hockey.
To split that,
The UHL at that time was quality hockey. It's definitely not.
to split that.
Are you
it
splitting?
gets-
Are you splitting it?
I'm gonna split it. It gets down because people treated it as an alternative to dying downtown.
That's
But it gets up. It goes up because it is a more accessible quality option to families.
then
and
let's do
children.
B tier. Then let's do B tier.
No,
I'm
I
fine
was
with
gonna say that
You feel okay?
that keeps it to A.
You keep it A. Okay, let's keep
I'm
it A.
happy to keep it A.
Let's keep it A.
Eh.
All right.
Hey.
How about St. Louis Ambush?
St. Louis Ambush.
Back to logos.
Yeah, and like the multiple stints that they've had at the Family Arena.
Yeah, I was under the impression that they were still here. I love how Google.
No, they are. They are still here.
Gotcha. Google. Why are we including them?
Because they were also passed.
Oh, okay. I love how like Google has it like they're a business, like a brick and mortar business, and it's just like St. Louis Ambush closed. They have hours. They open. By the way, the St. Louis Ambush opens from 9 to 5 every weekday, according to.
Wait, what are they now?
So they're still in the. I believe they're.
But it's like a different franchise?
The Wikipedia page does not.
Yeah, it says 2013 till now.
They're still here.
What? No, the Wikipedia page says.
Oh, there we
they're
go.
two
Oh,
different teams.
They may refer to 1992 to 2000.
Correct.
That
And
one.
they were
Yeah.
they were founded in 91, played 1992 through 2000
Oh,
in the
what a
NPSL.
strange logo.
Incredible logo.
It's
How
like
dare you?
It's the balloon glow reference, and it looks like it was made in 1948, but it was actually a 90s logo. This is
Yeah.
insane.
The old logo is way better than and they both have a similar thing going on, like with the soccer ball being cannon out of the B.
Oh, it's a cannon.
The
Yes.
earlier,
I thought it was a hot air balloon.
The B is a cannon.
The old one is way better.
Ambush.
I mean,
that makes sense.
Nostalgia too, but
It is. But
yeah.
that like at the same
colors.
time, they went to the
teal,
finals.
baby teal.
They went to the finals 4 times, won once, like the Hawks. But so like 97, 98, and then 98, 99, those 2 seasons, I was like 6 and 7. So that was just prime time. The Lemon family at the Family Arena.
I love this.
With the Missouri River Otters and the Ambush was just like so great. And the Ambush would go to the finals 2 years in a row. It was so much fun.
Can we talk about
What a
this,
great
this
time to be
picture?
alive.
This picture of them as the champions of the MPSL in 1994 and 1995. It's just a bunch of dudes in a parking lot.
It's dudes being dudes. It's really cool.
And there's like the back of somebody's head in this picture. And this is like the best picture they have.
And of course, like they went to, so the reason they were so good, that stretch of 6 seasons. So the stretch of 6 seasons, 93 through 99, they were coached by Daryl Duran. Daryl Duran, if you know anything about St. Louis soccer, he was a St. Louis Steamers player. He's probably the best indoor soccer player maybe ever. It's incredible. He was the coach.
Wow.
He was the coach for those 6, from 93 to 99.
Worth noting that they also moved here but they dissolved here though.
And then they came back.
Yeah, and then But they've
been back since
they moved
13.
here from Tulsa. They were at Tulsa Ambush.
Ambush go B tier for me.
I will defer.
I like it.
I will defer to your childhood memories.
B tier because of the way that they're running the organization now. That
Nope,
kinda has an
doesn't
effect on
count.
it. Fine. I still think they're B tier.
I think B tier's cool.
I still think they're B tier because I think the team that I would prefer to go see in the Family Arena was the River Otters. I would rather go see the River Otters than I would go see the
But
Ambush.
they weren't playing at the
I'll allow
They
it.
were playing at the same.
they were
no,
playing
they
at
weren't.
they were playing at the St. Louis Arena and at the Kiel Center. according to
Memory's a funny
Wikimedia.
thing, David.
Oh, you're right. Thank you for saying that.
Your mind
was wrong.
your mind is a prison.
It's a terrible place to
The Steamers.
It's a terrible place to be.
So do you want to change that then?
No,
B tier?
I think they're B tier.
B tier. Speaking of indoor soccer teams
Yeah.
that were here and then stopped and then also came back in another iteration, the St. Louis Steamers.
So the St. Louis Steamers, they were in the MISL, Major Indoor Soccer League. For 10 years, they were here. They played at the Checker Dome, St. Louis Arena. And they had an average attendance through the roof. Like they were averaging over 12,000 people. per
Wow,
game.
a minor league of a sport that's played largely and professionally that St. Louis overperforms in their category for.
Who would have ever guessed?
Oh my god!
I mean, or
freaking caw.
Yeah, dude.
Slash-
40,000. Just like mind blowing. 40,000 people.
yeah.
I love that Stan Musial. Stan Musial was like a partner at one point,
Love
like
it.
an owner
In
Of
the
the-
ownership.
of the Steamers.
Of the Steamers, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the 80s.
That's
Isn't that
great.
awesome? But Daryl Duran played for them. Was probably just he's probably the face of that team.
I don't know, dude. St. Louis Steamers Soccer Club's Google listing, all lowercase, St. Louis Steamers Soccer Club opens this Monday at 7 a.m. So
It's not a thing. You've probably heard the names Pat McBride, relation to Brian McBride. Anybody? Al Trost, Dave Clements, and then Tony Glavin. All were coaches of the Steamers teams, and those are like super big. If you're into soccer, and if you're not, look them up.
the St. Louis Steamers, there is a soccer league, a spring league called the St. Louis Steamers now that you can sign up for $75, or you can enroll 1L now on their website. This is not the same team.
Love it.
And the greatest goalkeeper of indoor soccer history, my favorite goalkeeper of all time, Slobo. That's his nickname.
Cool.
Slobo.
I love a soccer player with one name.
Super great.
great,
I
yeah.
love that nickname.
Where are we putting them?
Steamers go A tier for me.
I'm into it.
Great.
Great. Moving on. Vipers. Anybody hear of the Vipers before?
Logo? This
Solid.
is
So
Roller
good.
Hockey International, by the way. 1993 to 1999.
Let's just educate people on the Vipers real quick because they were
Red, black, yellow, white.
gold,
Red,
first of
black,
all.
gold, and white. I mean, this is like some like video game bad guys, but like the rude little dude, cool bad guys.
Uh-huh.
And
Very,
then freaking
very 90s.
oh yeah, You got the four inline things there. You got the S that becomes the snake.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, ah.
And so I was so pumped because in 2019 they said they were coming back,
Oh, yeah.
and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so the NRHL, the National Roller Hockey League, said we're making no comments if we're coming back. But in 2019, everybody in St. Louis that knew what the Vipers were like, "Oh my God, it's back!"
And
then it died.
COVID
killed it.
Home attendance through the roof. Obviously, it says here in the 6-year existence of in the 1990s, the St. Louis Vipers had 332,412 people in 71 home games, which was, quote, a few hundred less than what was seen as viable.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, which
I
sucks.
love this. I love this note. On August 16th, 1994, the Vipers played the last official sporting event in St. Louis Arena. It was against the Tampa Bay Tritons in front of 11,146, which was the second largest. Like, could you imagine
This is roller
11,000 people going to see freaking roller hockey?
Yo, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm going to
St.
see
Louis-
roller hockey.
St. Louis is amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love St. Louis. But the Vipers were just kind of mid.
Yeah.
At best, they were mid. And they
what were
didn't, they weren't that great.
Call them C tier.
They won a Murphy Cup.
Did they?
Yep, 1999.
Oh, they did.
Yep, their last year. When they
last
folded,
year.
they won the championship, and then they went out on top, baby.
Hey.
Then we'll give him the C. We'll give him the C.
C
I was
tier.
gonna give him the. I was gonna give.
We
him
said
the D.
nothing negative about that.
Yeah, I think
go B?
I think Murphy Cup out on top. That logo.
The logo makes it up to B, in my opinion.
B tier.
I'm okay with that.
B tier.
And
There it
they
is.
folded. They didn't leave.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's
Good
one thing to
point.
go out of business. They
Good
didn't leave.
point.
Solid B tier. Solid
All
B
right.
tier.
All right. Staying in soccer. St. Louis Football Club.
S-T-L.
S-T-L. S.
Dude, so my
Wait,
what,
do it again.
S-T-L. S-T-L.
Oh, I thought you were doing it in 5/4. I was like, that's a really cool.
It's just 4.
I thought you were S-T-L. S-T-L.
Could you? No.
Be incredible.
With a crowd of people, do you
Whoa.
think they're going to be able to do it?
That's
in
some Jacob
5-4?
Jacob level. Like, he's out
yeah.
there, like, making everybody sing and count.
So
All the
let me talk about this. This is like I think still to this day, and I've been to a St. Louis Soccer Club game with you.
City games, yeah.
A city game. My favorite sports going attending experience was standing in the supporters
Important
corner.
detail.
Standing in the supporters corner in Fenton, doing the chants, screaming,
5,000
smoke flares
fans.
going off because we were always scoring.
Yes.
Like, that's what sports, like, it's the first time that I ever felt like, as somebody in the crowd, like, I'm doing something to help them.
Yeah.
Like I
There's
was
only
a part of it. I was
5,000 people
actually a
there.
part of it, not a spectator. Like, we are on the team with them. Like,
It feels like you're on that team because you actually know those players. Like, you see them around town and you're like friends with them.
And we're obviously talking about the St. Louis Fusion Center, right?
Yeah. The St. Louis
the,
Fusion
the,
Center.
the Terrorism and Early Warning Group,
Oh gosh.
the St. Louis Fusion Center. It's a public safety.
Is that down at
partnership
Soccer Park in
It's
Fenton?
right across the river.
if you see something, say something.
Yep.
Oh wow. St. Louis FC. This is definitely bias, and recency bias has play into it. Is like Bradley is the most important sporting.
I mean,
Team in my existence,
in the-
and
in the
I
same
think
way-
will forever be. Those 6 years,
Yeah.
I was a season ticket holder all 6 years. You know how much I paid for season tickets? $160
yeah,
for all 16 games.
for an unmatchable experience.
like 17, 18 games. It was the perfect experience.
And we wouldn't have City without it.
We would not have City without this organization. Pat Berry, and Jeremy Allenbaugh, the guys who ran the team, and now Jeremy Allenbaugh is the head of the USL. And the USL, which in my opinion is the superior run league to Major League Soccer, even though it's like a tier down in terms of like quality of play, it's a way better run organization. City games they don't feel the same. It's just so corporate, dude. Whereas St. Louis Football Club games were so fun.
This is the first time I've ever heard you say anything negative about St. Louis City. Like
They are they're overtly corporate because MLS makes it that way. Major League Soccer sucks.
But
City as a team and as a organization, good.
all
Major League Soccer
local
as an
businesses,
organization,
all local businesses
wait.
are serving food there though.
That's why I said City is
City
good.
makes-
City makes
yeah.
those decisions.
Oh, interesting.
Major
Okay,
League Soccer, City makes those decisions. An in-game experience, good.
cool. Oh, so St. Louis City good,
Amazing.
MLS bad.
MLS terrible.
Yeah.
Also,
Horrible.
the St. Louis
Don
Fusion,
Garber terrible.
St. Louis Fusion Center is located downtown.
What are we doing? St. Louis FC S tier.
S tier.
S tier.
S tier
S
has
tier.
to be.
And then let's talk about the St. Louis Stars.
We already did that.
That's the soccer team, St. Louis
Oh, the
Stars.
St. Louis Soccer Stars.
Yes, the National Professional Soccer League. So they played at the same field pretty much. Bush,
St. Louis,
Bush
St. Louis
Memorial
FC,
Stadium.
the St. Louis Fusion Center.
Yes. So played 12 years, and they played against the likes of in the NPSL. This was before Major League Soccer had started in 1994, I believe. What's his name? Pele played in the NPSL for the New York Cosmos. We didn't have.
And they
Pele.
This team moved.
Yes.
They moved to become the
California
California Surf.
right? I think.
We get it. You have water. Ugh.
Either way, the
We have water too. The backbone of America running through our city. It's water.
The Stars
baby.
were headed up by Bob Herman to create it.
The Wikipedia
I don't know if
page.
you know anything about Bob Herman. So he headed up the St. Louis Stars. In college soccer, the Heisman of college soccer is the Herman Trophy.
Ooh.
It's named after him.
Well, so the Wikipedia page says
Fun fact,
chairman
everybody.
Bob Herman and head coach defunct. I don't know what that's about Wikipedia, but
Oh, really?
Yeah.
right there.
yeah.
Capacity was.
Oh, no, they played at WashU.
Well, weird capacity numbers too. Yeah, they played at WashU.
They played at WashU, that's right.
Oh, I see. The capacity says 55,000 and 6,000 and 18,006 indoor. They played at Bush, and then they played at Francis Field, and then they played at the St. Louis Arena.
I really appreciated what they did for soccer here in the States, like in the NPSL. That was really, really great. It was the precursor to what MLS could be, right? The St. Louis Stars were one of the better clubs. And like as attendance-wise goes, St. Louis packed the house. Of course they did, all the time.
They qualified for the playoffs 3 times and lost all the times, except for once. They were runners-up in the...
I'm talking about the fans showing up.
Oh, I thought you were talking about their record, because they were bad.
Oh, no. Just like St. Louis FC was bad. St. Louis FC was not great.
This team was
St. Louis FC constantly crapped the bed. But like I will say,
as far as logos go though, like I don't hate it.
really? I do.
Like I think it's like for the 60s and 70s.
It's very 67.
Oh sure, no, and especially the
I don't
middle,
love it.
The middle part, like the stars are not in the middle of the little donut, which is kind of annoying.
They're super important to soccer culture in St. Louis, and I'm gonna put them in B tier.
It's not a good logo.
Early adopters of the arch, though, like early adopters of the arch in logo.
Sure,
Interesting.
because they were founded when
66.
66.
Yes.
like right then.
literally
All
the
right.
year the arch.
Yeah,
began.
I was gonna. I don't have strong opinions, but I also like adding to their points. Founded in St. Louis, not moved.
Yes.
Yeah. B sounds great.
Great.
But they did move.
Right, but they didn't move to here.
2 here is cool. Away from here is bad.
I was saying. Well, at least for NFL, I feel like moving, like any team moving anywhere, even if it's moving to here, is still like indicative of the problem culture of the NFL and the owner culture.
but it
of the
benefits us, Bradley.
Yeah,
you know what, Colin?
It's still B tier.
I'm gonna stand on principle.
I'm
You're
saying
going to
B
stand
tier.
on business?
Hey, you want to talk about World Team Tennis?
No, David, tell me all about it.
I would assume you haven't heard about World Team Tennis.
Is this one like...
But did you know that there was a World Team Tennis team in St. Louis all the way up till 2011?
Is this when like planets, like different, like Mercury and Venus, like play tennis against other planets, like their worlds, their world team, their teams?
Yeah,
that
the
are
same way we
worlds?
do the World Series.
We had the
Yeah.
St. Louis Aces, baby, which is like the most obvious team name for a
It's
tennis
like
team.
the St. Louis Nets.
Yeah.
St. Louis
We're
balls.
the St. Louis courts.
See, you know,
St.
no,
Louis-
St. Louis clay.
You
I
wouldn't
St. Louis
want
balls.
being the St.
St.
Louis
Louis
Nets.
clay would have been good, actually. That would
Yeah,
have been clever.
yeah.
St. Louis clay would have
Being
been
the
good.
St. Louis Nets, though, that'd be really bad for tennis. That'd be like the St. It's like the St. Louis.
The St. Louis strikeouts.
No, yeah,
St. Louis faults.
yeah. Although St. Louis falls. The new manager falls.
Good. Ooh,
Hey.
that would have been bad though. Yeah. 1994 through 2011.
That's a long run.
That's a long run. And they only won one championship in 96. They played their home matches in Forest Park. If you've ever walked through Forest Park,
That's why I had that really nice tennis thing.
And they tore down part of it. But they played 18 seasons before the franchise itself folded.
They tore down part of it? Like, are you going to tell me that like 40,000 people showed up to these games and now they tore down the stands? Is that what the story is?
No.
Okay.
But I want to tell you the final squad. So in 2011, guess who was on the team? Anna Kournikova. And Lindsay Davenport.
Oh my God.
That has to be some sort of like.
And Andre Pavel.
Wait, what year was
this?
this?
These are massive names.
2011. That has to be
2011.
That has to be some sort of like exhibition thing.
It is.
Okay.
The WTT was more exhibition style than anything else. But like St. Louis's representatives were Anna Kournikova, the Russian. It's just so great.
Yeah.
And Lindsay Davenport, the American.
The logo, kind of bad.
So bad.
Pretty dang bad.
We'll put it up. 4 colors. 3 if you don't count.
Well, and just it's nearly it's clip arty and it's
Woof.
like
Yeah, that is bad.
Yeah.
And they tried to do it's aces, like cards.
Yeah.
And like that's not
Which
relevant.
I don't hate taking inspiration from that to a certain extent, but yeah, like
It could have just been, you know what? You make it the card and the suit of the card is a tennis ball.
there you go. Or aces, because cards are coming from just like nowhere, because the aces in tennis, and like, oh, what's another ace? Go back to St. Louis aviation history and do like an ace, like a pilot, like a World War whatever, like put a biplane on there.
Be like,
St. Louis aces.
It's not Charles Lindbergh. It's not Charles Lindbergh.
Make it a biplane.
By the way, if you just wanted to, if you don't know
That's
anything
representation,
right?
Of the WTT, it is mixed gender professional tennis. So it's mixed. It's mixed doubles and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why it's a
It's a
biplane.
team format.
So next week on Not Just Sports. So aces, what do we call them?
I think it's C tier.
I think we put it in C tier to be safe
Yeah.
because
And I like
because of Anna Kournikova.
Well, and I also think because of the tennis arena, like that is there in Forest Park because of them.
This is like Inter Miami having Messi. Like it feels it's like what?
in 2011,
Like,
Anna
people
Kournikova was
are
like,
gonna look
I'm the
back.
representative of St. Louis, and everybody's like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
We just won a World Series. That's all we care about.
Right.
Well, that was
a
later
World
that
Series
year.
of tennis.
That was later that year.
Great.
Yeah.
Just like we rue the population decline in St. Louis and hope for its eventual rebound, and are actively trying our best to do that. That's why we do this show. Hey, if you listen to this and you're outside of St. Louis, move here. Also, if you're a billionaire sports dude that wants to, if you're listening to this,
Put an expansion and
Basketball.
a basketball NBA
and
team.
pay for it yourself.
Yeah.
We've already got an arena.
We sure do. We have several.
Pretty good. It's a pretty good arena.
Yeah.
I like you. We'll say, hey, you're all right.
Overarching is produced at Fly North Theatricals in residence with the Kranzberg Arts Foundation here in sunny Grand Center, St. Louis, Magoovis. You can follow us on social media at Overarching ST Louis. I am Colin.
I'm David.
I'm Bradley.
And this was Overarching.